people tired, losing track. No one's got your back, but now you do. Sensei's got you. Sensay knows what to say. Talks like a human, works night and day. Sensay saves your day, built for the future, here to slay. No more bots that loop and freeze, no more reps begging please. Sensei smart, it knows the play. Chatbots powered the real way. You don't need more crew, 'cause Sensei's true. Sensei knows what to say. Answers in seconds, leads don't stray. Sensei saves your day. Fuel it with Sensei, on your way. Knowledge lives, all forever stored. Every lead, every call, Sensei scores. Sensei rocks your way. Work gets done while you sleep all day. Sensei leaves no delay. Eye with heart, that's Sensei. Hey. You got a team working day.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Dan Thompson. I'm the founder and CEO here at Sensay. For this week's Sensay Community Call, for anyone joining us for the first time, Sensay is a company that produces the world's most personalizable, hyper-personalized chatbots and makes our wisdom engine available via our API. Sensay believes in the future of virtual humans and digital immortality as a way of transferring our knowledge and consciousness. And so these chatbots are a great way of creating incredible sales tools, community support, and customer support tools that can interact with customers, clients, team members as a way of sharing important tacit knowledge, but with personality. So having like a CEO or a top salesperson created as a chatbot for your website that you can actually deploy on your website, Telegram, Discord, as a way of interacting with your clients and customers to make them feel like they are more, they actually get to know the team as well as the product. So it's we've been going for about 2 years now, and it's always great to come and do these calls every week to answer any questions. If you do have any questions today, if you're watching for the first time, if you're watching live, then on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, you can drop comments in the comment section and we will see them as questions. So you can ask questions anywhere and we'll pull up some of the best questions at the end. We're expected to run for about 30 to 40 minutes today. So just stay with us. We've got some really great updates to share with you today before bringing up a special guest and then we'll get on to the Q&A section as well. But without further ado, I'm going to bring up our head of community, Lars, as always. So I guess, well, first of all, if Lars, you want to introduce yourself and then introduce Bill.
Yes, hello everyone, my name is Lars, as you all know, head of community, the most annoying person in your chat that will sit there with all your questions. Today we have Bill, is one of our community members and one of our clients that actually built a replica with our BD department. And our BD department loved him so much that they thought we need him on one of our calls to show why he loves Sensay. Bill, welcome. Bill, you don't have any sound.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Bill. Sorry.
Yep. How about now?
Now we can hear you, yes.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And I was a little nervous about this until I saw that my responsibility is to be your biggest fan and someone who can join right in the middle of this and having a lot of fun.
I mean, it's great, Bill. It'd be great to just have a bit more knowledge, a bit more understanding about you and as a person. Would you mind giving us a bit of background on yourself?
Sure. I am a long time IT professional. I got a math degree in 1985. Started my IT career back in the day, the early days. I got to grow up learning, and watching the industry grow. Did every job possible, understood land firewalls, and started off as a coder. That was always my fallback with code. And as I started seeing some of the AI stuff I couldn't resist, I'm also a professional educator. I teach kids in my community tech and have for almost 10 years now. And I think this is one of the most fascinating opportunities, since the internet. And so it got my attention. I've come and looked, I've played with it. I see the potential and really just can't wait to go further.
Nice. And so, what was it that first sort of attracted you to what we're building here?
I think it was the straightforward nature of being able to deliver something with value. It took me a little while, but within a few weeks, I was able to develop an avatar that was a pretty good reflection of myself. And I see this kind of, there's two parts. There's the video avatar part, but there's the intelligence behind that. And I think that's really the key to this, the simplicity of this. The first people, there's two pieces. And you need to focus on both, makes it a harder problem. But it is very once you tackle it.
Nice. And what was your goal for creating this avatar? Was it something that's to be like a second brain, like a extra resource for yourself, somewhere just to capture a lot of your knowledge and information, or is it something for business use case like sales or customer support?
A lot of all of that, but the particular project that drove me into Sensay was this idea of replicating a long-term American entrepreneur, a guy named Fred Carey. And he's got many years. I've been coding for 50 years. He's been building businesses for 50 years. And so the idea was to really get his bank of knowledge out into an area where it could really benefit people and could scale. And that's really was the bottom line. Once I saw that, and I showed Fred. Fred unfortunately was injured and has a concussion, has actually been out for a couple of weeks. So that's the only thing that slowed my progress. But the idea was to allow someone to start a business and have a business partner like Fred Carey from Rome, and that person would absorb the knowledge over the years being a coach. So the role was the founder, but no capital required. It's more, and that idea of building a AI-based, business partner, someone who can absorb all kinds and then make judgments on is your accounting practices within GAAP, at least in the U.S. That becomes easy things to accomplish.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this. I mean, there's a lot of requests for that solutions to help with knowledge loss and knowledge transfer, but also, as you said, like having that resource available to people who wouldn't be able to afford to hire that in if they have I guess complementary skill sets rather than the same skill sets. So being able to have a resource where you could tap into that knowledge, that know-how, that understanding, and just have it as a almost like an advisor or even an AI worker to be able to actually help with certain decisions and certain aspects of building a business or a job. We like to sometimes describe it as having like Dumbledore's office with all the headmasters around on the walls as a interactive resource of knowledge and understanding, and being able to just basically go and interact with that experience that they have for that particular role, and then have that tie into what it is you're trying to achieve. So I mean that sounds great. We we had an experiment recently where we created an AI CMO for marketing out a particular product, and it was for an email drafter, and it was great. I mean, it basically did. We actually it was a kind of a little side project of mine, and what we did is I used Sensay to create an AI CMO, and I had essentially a VA just executing whatever the AI CMO told them to do. And the fascinating thing is, it started driving customers. It started driving, it's actually been getting the word out there and actually building, building a brand for this side project. It's completely automated, and I barely even look at it. And I think it's done a 100-day challenge, and I think it's going to finish in like the end of this month. But it's fascinating to see how AI can literally fill those gaps now, and whether that's based off of a generic knowledge base or someone specific. And I think that's where an older generation now, who have so much wisdom and understanding, but are not necessarily the most technologically savvy people. Using an example, I was in Turkey last week, and we went to this doctor, and the doctor, super smart, incredibly switched on lady, and she was, she knew everything. But as soon as it went to like typing out something, it was very much like one finger at a time. And so this idea of how do you extract that knowledge? How do you get that knowledge out to their head and into a useful bit of technology, both for her and the people around her? And so these are the kind of things we're trying to work on.
Well, and there's a certain element of our population that will never really build that themselves, and even Sensei, as easy as you've made it, because they don't have a background in building things like this. So the other thing that we've been playing with, it's just a fabulous idea, is this idea that you would go to a site and there might, so maybe like Fiverr or like LinkedIn, except you meet someone like myself, avatar, and all my other professional IT people who have various in this country background and experience. My avatar was straight. You'd be able to meet me, find out what I'm like, and quiz me a little bit on knowledge and things like that. And then it would be really almost a sales. It would be a sales process for me to just allow people to, learn about my background, figure out where I live, what do I like to do, what am I good at, and then they could use that as almost a billboard of a consulting service, basically. And everyone will figure that out too soon, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's so much. AI has obviously advanced so fast the last couple of years, but it's still trained on, largely sort of garbage information, right? It's trained on all of the web scrapes, the endless internet dribble that's out there, and then the Reddit threads. Whereas there's so much personal information that could be actually useful to the individual, and likewise for companies as well. Just so much proprietary and institutional knowledge and data that's there that AI still hasn't really been able to tap into. And I think that's the missing piece to all this, to actually make it properly useful for us. And that's where that's what we really talk about, the hyper personalization as a big factor, because it really is a big differentiator in making something useful. Because you could go and try and do the same thing by creating a GPT on OpenAI, but the reality is, without that, the nuances, without the style, without the personal preferences and characteristics and personality, you don't really get that kind of usefulness from it in the same way that you do with a let's say a personalized avatar from Sensay.
Yeah, there's fascinating possibilities with this. And then another one that's kind of close to my heart as an educator is to use this in primary education, right? Like this semester, I'm going to have my kids working on creating chatbots, understanding how those are created, what you can do with them. And of course, healthy private meetings, but I know where I live in the state of New Mexico, the public education department has recognized the importance of this technology. As mentioned earlier, this is as important as the introduction of the internet was, probably more.
We've got a nice question here for you, Bill. As a professional, did you realize 10, 15 years ago that AI would integrate so deeply into our lives?
Absolutely not. I even had a master's degree in 1985 and had no idea what I did. So I'm the luckiest guy on the planet, basically. I've stumbled into almost everything and then just applied hard work and diligence.
And
So
I
no, I
guess
didn't.
I guess obviously you've worked in space for quite some time. Where it's always an interesting question because everyone's got kind of a different opinion of it. But where do you see, once AI does get to a sufficiently advanced level, where do you see our interaction with AI and even technology going forward? Because pretty soon we won't be able to believe anything we see on the internet, whether it's videos, whether it's voice, whether it's text, anything. Everything will be AI. So where do we get to as a civilization when AI can and does do everything for us?
Well, I don't know if it'll ever do everything for us. I'm not a believer that AI will be yet and start making its own decisions. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think we'll always be in control. And I think what'll happen is, like the internet, we're in that phase now where everybody's going nuts on all the things they can do. But it really boiled down to this set of basic functions on the internet. You can buy things, you can get information. There's social networking, but it boiled into these services that now you can look back on and say, well, that's logical and makes sense, right? And all the things people guessed you'd do with it was just wrong. And I think in AI, we're going to see something like that too. So, for example, just like HTTPS and creating these secure sessions, that created authenticity. In the future, my robot that's really me is going to be coming from some place that nobody can fake. So if you see me on CNN and it's not this authenticated AI, it's not me. And that's what I mean. I think this brings the truth out. The AI is going to bring the truth out. And that's why so many people are afraid of it. I think you're not going to be able to get away with anything.
Yeah, you make an interesting point about the similarities between, I guess, the internet boom and the AI sort of excitement now. Do you think that it will end up the same way? Do you think there'll be a big crash after all the excitement kind of wanes?
Like a .com bubble?
Yeah.
I think to some extent, yeah. I think to some extent. And I think there's a lot of interesting answers out there, but how practical and useful they are in day-to-day life, I would challenge. Right? That's how.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a big problem that isn't really talked about that much, or at least not people aren't that aware. They see, one or two of these big companies being very successful. They see, they see all the fundraising rounds on LinkedIn or wherever, and they think, oh, AI is the future, and everyone's making loads of money off AI. But the reality is, most of the companies are really struggling to actually get the traction and sales. And I guess it's the same as all industries at all times. But because everyone is looking at AI right now, and everything is AI, and everything that everyone is buying into, it has some kind of AI attached to it. Yeah. But the reality is that not as people are getting very good at marketing, but the reality is that it's a struggle out there. People aren't actually able to sell as well as they were hoping to. And so, I think that's probably the same as the dot-com bubble in a way. I think there was a lot of hype and excitement, lots of investment, lots of everyone needed a website, and everyone needed to do something with something on the internet. But
at the end of the day, it's guys like Jobs and Woz in their garage who really create good stuff. And I think that's what we're going to see too, is the golden age of entrepreneurialism. A lot of these young people are going to cook up something you and I could possibly think of, run with it, and become successful as one person businesses. The ideal is so good and so practical. And that's what I think is people really break through that are unusual, that don't have the training like that. Like when I was a kid, I had to go to college about technology. All you need to use.
Yeah, and it does feel a bit the same as well. Like AI, a bit like the internet, when the internet did, I guess, have that massive growth in the 90s. it already feels indispensable. It feels like it's something that is already a part of our lives, something that you go to for a lot of things. Like, how would anyone go back to, I don't know, doing like, well, obviously going back to research is one thing, but going back to just writing stuff out, reading stuff, summarizing, helping as a second brain. You can't really go back on that. But then where the true value comes in and the competitive landscape is, it's just going to be a really fascinating few years ahead to see what actually happens and where we get to and whether or not AI can advance. I mean, there was a big, obviously the big launch of GPT-5 came out last week, but everyone so far has been quite underwhelmed. Either they don't know how to use it to its full potential, or it's just not as good as everyone was expecting. So maybe OpenAI is running out of steam and they actually can't get past a certain threshold. But it doesn't feel like it's any much better than some of the existing AIs out there. I'm sure it is when benchmarked. I'm sure there's like nuances to it, but maybe there is a limit where we get to in terms of the advancement of these LLMs, and maybe from there that something else develops out. But then it really does come down to personal applications and how people actually find value and offer value in an age where you can spin up a new concept, a new idea in a few minutes using Bolt or Lovable or any of these website builders.
Exactly, and I think if there's an Achilles heel in AI right now, really there needs to be a more robust memory layer to really tie together. So if we do this business partner idea, and now 10 years in the future, we're going to start quizzing this person. I want that knowledge to go back to day one in terms of the context and understanding that the robotic intelligence has. That's where the values is this deep understanding of where you are, a deep understanding of all your problems, right? All of the good things all the bad things you got to deal with, and is constantly putting them in priority order and offering, guidance. But at the end of the day, people have to do this for the most part. I mean, there'll come a time when the robots do more. But right now, it's only really ideas. Maybe you can send some emails and scrape some websites. But you said that's the parlor trick.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I think there's a lot of it does kind of open up people's ability to be creative in a way they maybe weren't before, because you could be creative before without being able to build a website, whereas now you can be creative and build a website and build and share it with the world quickly. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there for people who are, were creative but didn't really have an outlet into the tech space because, you had to have a software engineer to help you build something.
I taught many of my students how to make Sensay projects from scratch, and these are 9th through 12th graders. It comes to them naturally, and that's the other thing I would just say about your product. I think was so well laid out is when 9th graders can look at it on try and go, oh, and now we'll go look at the YouTube videos, so they'll be educated, and they get that really quick, which I found fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing how they're being brought up on it, and it's going to change the workforce as well. I think with how people actually do operate with work, which we complete stark contrast to some of the retirees that are going out, and then some of these new younger workers coming in who've been brought up with AI as literally an outsourced brain. So it's gonna be fascinating to see how the workforce shifts in that as well. Just to kind of wrap up a little bit with Sensay, you say you've been using it, you've been showing to students as well. What is there something that you think would be a great feature to add that's not quite there right now?
Well, so the other secret weapon I have is named Daniel, who works for you, who's rolled out the web with it technically, and really been a great partner, giving me things like blueprints. So he helped me create the Fred Carey's personality in a very structured and repeatable way. So you got a great team, and so good customers come from great support. Here's the one thing I've been playing with, and I've not even talked to Daniel about this, but we talked about a little bit, was some automation behind the scenes in the form of like a Zapier or an MAN. And actually, I've been playing with N8N now for a while, and I've just been using HTTP calls through the API, and that seems to be working pretty well. And the idea for me is, again, create this deeper level of memory, right? Where there's this giant knowledge base that if you contact with Bill in the network that was created and whenever, and your partner, so I know history from moment one. And so we think that's something that probably is a separate problem that has to be addressed. And with something like ADN, you can flop back and forth, and have a pretty interactive.
Amazing. Well, Bill, honestly, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, and I've just been making a few notes because you give me some good ideas. So I was just thinking we should do these kind of calls more. But honestly, thanks, and thank you for being so kind about the team. We do have an incredible team. Very, very proud to have such good people working with us and supporting the vision and dream here. So thanks for joining, and really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the community in the call sometimes.
Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thanks. Let's bring Lars back up again. There he is.
Well,
Hi, Lars. So
it's
what's been
amazing.
what's been going on in the community lately? What's been some questions, some concerns? What's new?
Well, we always have the classical one. We reply to every single week. So the one thing I want to bring up this time is actually what we're doing right now in the back. We're on the final stages of actually doing a lovely poker night to do something completely different. And I'm actually really looking forward for this because it won't just be Sensei. We are talking with top 100 projects in the back end that actually will join us in with their communities in the poker, so you can sit and actually talk to different projects and show them why Sensei is the best, and they will try and show you why their project is the best. So it's going to be a poker night with a little bit of shilling to each other all the way through. I think it's going to be lovely. We're planning within the next 2-3 weeks to have this actually up and running.
Yeah, I mean that comes off the back of like the success of the quiz nights and stuff like that, right? So it's going to be nice to have additional sort of community activities.
Yeah, exactly. And for the quiz nights, I want to give a big shout out for Mike and Jillian, Johan, and everybody that works as the moderators. They are doing an amazing job on that aspect. So everybody's working together to make it work. Right now, as you know, we do have the mod wars. It has been crazy activity inside the chat, different aspects and everything. So we still have 3 potential moderators that is going to come in and show what they can do. And I'm looking forward for the last ones. I have some, I try to be biased.
What are they having to do with the mod wars?
So the mod wars is basically different kind of applications because I thought, wait, why am I sitting and interviewing a moderator instead of actually them showing me what they can do? So it's a way for me as the apprentice kind of show to make them show what they can do, and then we have all the moderators actually rating them on how to do and how to perform in each of their events. So that rating and how they act in the chat and everything actually comes together to a potential job offer for one potential moderator.
It's nice. It's a bit like the original Facebook, get people to compete for a job type thing.
Yeah, I thought like, why do the interviews? Because an interview you can say anything. So I started to everyone that goes in my DMs trying to show me something. I started to say to them, show me, don't sell me, show me why.
Yeah, nice. And what else been going on in the community? We've got the summer campaign still going.
We still have the summer campaign. We have a lot of quests in it, and we have like 10, 15 new quests every single day, connecting into every single aspect of our socials, even our founders' socials for every single post that comes out, to make sure we have the engagement and show your appreciation. But we are very tough on it as well, because what we realized, even though we work with AI, a lot of people don't hide that they're using AI, and most of the time an AI can also, especially when you use direct platforms, you don't make an agent, you don't have a replica that can make it for you, it hallucinates. So all of a sudden, the hallucinations, when they start to copy text over and over, the text that comes out and sometimes post don't always follow this post itself. So we try to guide them a little bit. So we become a little bit tougher on the quest because we want to make sure that they know that they need to follow how the post also on. Just don't
Maybe
trust
we
it 100%.
maybe we should launch a free webinar or something to actually like almost like a prompting masterclass workshop. So we can actually do a workshop around like how to use AI better to participate in quests and get the results that we're looking for.
To like create your own agent in the
Yeah.
systems. Yeah. It'll be amazing because I feel like a lot of people they forget that aspect. It would be amazing if we have it.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess as a part of that, so we mentioned about quests. For anyone interested who would like to go do quests, you can go to sensay.io/quests. This is where you can earn points and get rewarded for participation. And the summer campaign has $20,000 worth of prizes available. Another prize we're running at the moment, another campaign, is the hackathon. So you can join our hackathon, which is running until the 8th of September. So last few weeks now. There's $10,000 for prizes to build on top of the Sensay API for e-commerce, for sales chatbots, for networking concepts, or membership concepts. So, there's a really great prize, great chance for any developers out there to get involved and have a chance to build on top of Sensay and actually build a business, which we can then support afterwards and help you grow. Some of the and then the last thing about September really is that we actually have, and this is the sort of one of the bigger announcements. I mentioned it last week, but on the 30th September, we have our upcoming September showcase. So this is the quarterly update that we do, which has all of the recent product updates, all the recent plans, everything you need to know about Sensay. And this will be a big event that we'll be running prizes for participation, as well as demoing all the latest releases that we've had. With that in mind, some recent products updates we've had are that both the API and chatbots have been, they had quite a few different bug bashes to actually fix a lot of the bugs that have been identified and found, which means that the platform is the most stable that it has ever been. We've had a real great chance to actually update the studio and even replica creation flow. So let me just, I'm actually going to share a screen today for a bit of a demo. So when you come to Sensay for the first time, when you log in and you come to your studio, so you'll see that the entire new styling's been implemented, so that you can add in the different training, the different aspects. You can create up to 30 different chatbots on the professional plan. And even when you do go to creating a new chatbot, you can actually have a really great flow for how it's actually going to create it. So you can connect your socials, which would end up pulling some of the information directly for you, and having that pre-fill out the information. You can upload or generate the images. I don't know. Let's just say, I don't know. There you go.
Do you think it's gonna make yourself then?
What's that? Sorry?
You think the prompt is gonna make yourself?
Yeah, I mean, so the idea is that the whole thing is 3 steps. 3 steps to create a quality chatbot that can be deployed straight away. So as soon as you actually have the option, then you can create this chatbot, and that will actually pre-fill a lot of the information that you have there. This will then go into your studio, which is great, and you can actually start editing and updating the training straight away. But the idea is actually making the launch process for a chatbot as quick and clean as possible. So it's a 3-step process. You can connect your socials, it'll pre-fill a lot of the information, and then you can actually go into the details around the personality, and actually fill out a lot more of information about it to actually help you, pick the best settings for it. And that's nice because it basically just means that you end up having a high quality chatbot in seconds, really. Then you can add to the knowledge base. This is the knowledge base v2. This is the updated version that's just been worked on recently. And here you can pretty much drop anything you like, and it will and it drags and it draws the knowledge from that information, whether it's files, whether it's links, videos, anything really. And then you'll be able to actually manage those knowledge entries here. And we also have the ability for you to, train via chat and get a bit of additional context into that. Then when it comes to deployment, simple no code. So you can customize the chatbot so that it deploys directly to your website as a chatbot, and you can change the colors around to fit your brand. And at the end of it, you've got the code. So simple no code solution. You copy that and drop it straight into your website, and you've got a live working website widget in just a few clicks. One of the recent updates, you can also see the conversation history and the analytics behind the chatbot. So it's come a long way in terms of what we've actually been able to do and how simple and easy it is to follow follow the process for actually creating, editing, and managing your chatbot. So really proud of the team for getting this far and all of this done.
A lot of things happened over the last few months. That looks amazing compared to when I remember we had the first interface. This one is such an easy go through.
Yeah, no, it's been a big, huge update for all of that. So yeah, we're very excited. We've got a big September showcase coming up, lots of prizes. The end of September. It's obviously August. It's a bit summertime, a bit quiet right now. And but yeah, I don't know if Lars, if there's anything else that we've missed today, but otherwise we can wrap it up there. And
I don't believe we have. We had a beautiful guest in from the community. One of everyone that used our product, what they think. We got our updates. You showed a new front end interface and everything. So for me, I don't have anything unless you have a last minute show of something, because you know me, when I'm home, I have 3 screens sitting around. I'm just enjoying here and everything.
No, I think that's it for now. So for anyone who's interested in checking out Sensay more, you can find us at sensay.io or at Ask Sensay on any of the social channels, or you can find myself at Sensay Dan on Twitter, Telegram, LinkedIn, everywhere. But for all the community, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for watching, whether live or the recording. Thanks to Lars and Bill for joining today, and everyone have a great day, great morning, great weekend. Thank you very much.
You got a team.
What if your website didn't just look the part, but spoke the part too? Meet the Sensay AI chatbot, powered by AI agents to deliver a fine-tuned, human-like experience to all of your customers. Trained on your company's data and tone, so every visitor gets a personal welcome from the people behind the company. Your best salesperson, on call 24/7. Your founder, greeting visitors at scale. Your brand, coming to life one conversation at a time. Forget "how can I help you" and robotic replies. This is AI with personality, memory, charm. It is a conversation.
Sensay AI chatbots, built to sound like your best self, ready to talk